All right, so fearless predictions for, what are we at, week 8?
Week 8.
Week 8. So I'm going to throw out the game. You tell me if you want to pick it or you want me to go first. First one on the slate, Minnesota in Colorado, a rematch of last week.
Knowing the NLL as I do, Minnesota.
I'm going to take Minnesota as well, and I can't even remember. I mean, I was in such a haze last week when I made my picks. I can't remember if I took them last week or not. This might be the first week I've taken Minnesota, going against my home team theory, but I think a better team there.
Okay.
Just plain and simple. Orlando at Toronto, Kids Night at the ACC.
This is going to be a tough one, but I don't see the Rock losing 3 games in a row. I know the management, I spoke with them yesterday, the 2 losses are not sitting well with them, and they want to return to their winning ways, especially in front of the home crowd, so I'm going to pick my Rock.
Plain and simple, they are undefeated at home, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to take Toronto as well. Edmonton in Rochester on Saturday night.
Edmonton in Rochester, I'm going to pick Edmonton. I don't think Rochester, I watched them at home. I said about the egos before. I don't think they play well in front of their home crowd. And Edmonton, after a big victory last week against the Rock, I'm going to pick the Rush.
Disagree. I'm going to go with Rochester because I think Rochester is better at home, and I think Edmonton is better at home as well. I don't think Edmonton is as good on the road as they are at home. So I'm going to go with Rochester in that one.
Okay.
Washington goes into Boston, and what I think might be the game of the week.
Once again, going back to my theory, if a team doesn't like losing any more than a couple in a row, Boston's on a roll. I don't know if Kyle Sorensen's well enough to play or not. That was my excuse for Washington. Man, that's a hard one, isn't it? I'm going to go against.
Really.
I'm going to go against the homer theory. I'm going to pick Washington. I think they got too much character to lose 3 in a row.
I'm going to go with Boston there. Again, I think home floor advantage is going to be huge in this game. Anthony Cosmo, I love at home, and Dan Dawson at home. Washington, I don't know kind of what's going on. They are on a bit of a slide right now, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure those losses have been on the road as well. I don't know if they've lost at home. Actually, maybe they did to Minnesota. I think that was in Washington. In any case, I'm going to go with the home team here and take Boston in that one. Final game of the weekend, Philly. As I said earlier, what is going on in Philly? They travel to the HSBC to take on the Bandits this week.
I think the two edgiest teams in the league, i.e. when it comes down to the rough stuff. This should be a real cool one for the fans to watch, definitely, because I think it's going to be a few exhibitions of pugilism in this one. However, I'm going to pick Buffalo.
I'm going to take Buffalo there as well. Just what you were saying there earlier, I think that might be the 2 most disappointing teams this season so far to date.
Yeah.
With respect to their fans and where they're currently sitting. I'm going to take Buffalo there as well. As I said, I don't know what's going on in Philly. 1 win on the season. Something's not right. That there's a lot going right in Buffalo either. But 2 struggling teams, and again, I'm just going to stick to my theory. I might just go the rest of the season and say the home team. Just to heck with it. I'm going to take the Bandits.
But you know, one thing that we've always said about the NLL the last few years, it comes down to the last afternoon of play to decide where the playoff seedings are and whatever. Now we're exactly the midpoint in the season for a lot of teams. This is where it could begin to change. Just because our theories could go right out the window from the first half of the season,
they will.
And see somebody go on a 4 or 5-0 run right to the end.
Yeah.
So this is what makes the NLL really a great product, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And while I'm on that subject, is the home team, my home team, the Rock. We want to try and get a little more excitement behind us. We're running for the run to the playoffs. So starting Saturday night, kids, I want to hear you when I shout out to you. I want you to shout back. We got to get the excitement in that building. The ownership has asked us all in the game night staff, Gary, to try and pump it up and make that run for the final playoffs. So remember, kids, Saturday, kids night. We're going to have a kids announcer up with us. I'm going to hand the microphone over to this young person who got named, but I can't do it. I know it from an email. It'll be done publicly in the next couple of days. And breathe some excitement into that building. You know, we're the only team in that beautiful building to ever raise a championship banner, and I think the fans got to come out and show us some hometown pride with our Rock on Saturday night.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're going to be the only team that will ever raise a championship banner in there.
Oops.
I'm just calling it the way I see it.
Yeah.
As he said, though, I think that's, you know, a kids' night. It should be a fabulous night. I'm really, really hoping a lot of people will turn out for this game. The only thing I'll add to what you said is shout back when you shout. Please just don't throw things, because I sit pretty close to him. And if you miss him, you might hit me. Or the little person that we get announcing as well, because I don't want them to get hurt either. So that's going to roll into, though, our little contest here. So as we said at the start of the show, we have a few pairs of tickets here. We're not going to let out exactly how many we have, but we've got a few. So what we thought kind of was the best way to try and get rid of these tickets, and we're only going to put a little stipulation on this, in that whoever it is that wins these tickets, adult or child, we have to insist that the adult bring a child to the game.
Yeah, liability and all that kind of stuff. Yes, whoever wins these tickets, we insist that it is one adult and one child. This being kids.
Well, minimum of one child.
Yeah.
If both children are going to go, we just want to make sure that they're getting down there. And if they're from the area here, I mean, they can even maybe come down with me and a couple that I'm going to take to the game with me. So bottom line is, it's kids' night. We want kids in the building. These tickets we want to try and gear towards kids. Kids, if you win them and you can get your way down there, or mom or dad want to go with you, by all means. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw out a trivia question to everyone out there. And do you want to have the honor of throwing the trivia out?
And you know, this being an all lacrosse site, not just the NLL, this is going to encompass two things. One is the Major Series of Lacrosse, the Man Cup winners from last year, the Brampton Excelsiors, and the current Toronto Rock. Who scored the winning goal in the Man Cup game in New Westminster last year? And that is the question. So,
who scored the winning goal to win the Man Cup Game 7?
That's
correct. Top of that, I believe it was overtime as well. Game 7, overtime winner to win the Man Cup for the Brampton Excelsiors this past season. I'll give you a hint. It was not Ron Messer, and it wasn't Gary Mark.
Darn.
So, that's our trivia question. The way we want to do this now, as I said, there's a few pairs, so you don't have to be first. The first person that gets it right, obviously, is going to win some tickets. We will go down the list, and we'll contact those who are successful, those who are winning, and we will have the tickets at the front gate. At this point, they're in our names, so we'll arrange to meet you there. That may or may not change just going forward. We do need to get this done pretty quickly, and I'll put a comment on the site when the tickets are gone, when we've gotten rid of what we've got. So post your comment at the bottom of this episode. You can comment on every post that we put up on the site, but put a comment on the site with your answer to the question that Ron just asked. And what we'll do is we'll contact you via email, and we'll let you know that you've got a set of tickets and how we're going to arrange getting them to you.
Okay, and game time this Saturday night is 7:30 p.m. That is the ball drop. So you need to be at the arena a good hour or so before the game to meet Gary or go to the will call window at the Air Canada Centre to pick up your tickets. We'll let you know when the final arrangements are made in that respect.
All right, so you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, just pump it up, help me and the Rock remain undefeated at home on Saturday night. And like I said before, kids, you know, we got to generate some excitement there. I'm there to try and get it started, but it's up to you, the fans out there, to make the noise.
So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this week. A little bit hobbled Gary Mark, along with Ron Messer back from the Great South.
Slightly tanned Ron Messer.
Slightly tanned Ron Messer, although you probably can't tell. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. So on behalf of Ron Messer.
Well, remember, just don't drink and drive, because, hey, there ain't no chicks in jail. You know?
Gary Mark reminding everybody out there to stay safe, be good, and keep your stick in the air.
Ta-da.
From isn't all that great. My automobile is a piece of crap. My fashion sense is a little whack, and my friends are just as screwy as me.